Bienvenidos and welcome to Midnight Edge en Español. Saludos a todos, Diego, Pablito y el gran jefe de los jefes, el gerente general, Andre, the boss of bosses. Welcome, Andre.
Gracias. Saludos a todos. ¿Qué tal, Mike?
Qué bueno. Pablo, ¿cómo está todo?
Hey, muy bien por acá y bueno, tenemos al jefezote desde Noruega.
Yes, we do have the boss amongst all bosses, the big heavyweights in town. I'm just going to translate as we go in the morning here, Andre. Diego, ¿cómo está todo?
Todo está bien. Solo un poquito congestionado, pero de ahí todo bien.
¿Qué pasó?
Alergias.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. ¿A los SJWs?
Eso y al clima húmedo de Lima.
I asked him if he was allergic to SJWs. He was talking about that he has allergies, Andre.
Yeah, I figured. Yo entiendo mucho español.
Perfecto. All right, we've got a great show for everybody. We want to go ahead, Diego, welcome everybody that's in the chat stream this morning. Go ahead and welcome everybody.
Hola a todos, les damos la bienvenida. Primero, como siempre, tenemos a JS ahí con nosotros, a nuestra ranch, a nuestro amigo D-Bud Martin, Pat S., Mr. Dragon.
Por ahí tenemos a Darius Munchausen. Tenemos a Private Eye, la voz de Midnight Edge en español.
Hola, tocayo. También estamos con una persona nueva, Giovanni Emilio Valdés Díaz. Y sí, ya empezó.
Y también María Fernanda López González. Dos caras que no hemos visto por aquí, pero hey, bienvenidos. Qué bueno tenerlos por aquí.
Y tenemos a alguien que siempre está aquí en los streams. Hello, Darth Scipio. How you doing?
Hey, hermano.
Also, Angelus Draven y Corey Leader. Hola a todos.
Corey Leader says, "Oh Jesus, where am I? I don't worry about it at all, because you are, of course, at Midnight Edge Español, but we don't do everything in Spanish. Here's going to be a little bit of mix of Spanish and English, perhaps more so today, since I'm guest hosting, since Paulie is otherwise occupied this week, so he'll be back again next Tuesday. But for right now, it is myself and Mexican Iron Man that will be co-hosting alongside the regular Diego and Pablo.
Indeed. I got the call, and there were tortillas to be harvested here in Midnight Edge Español, and yep, that's why I'm here. So, Andre, we've got some exciting topics to talk about that we're going to go through with the boys today. There's been some exciting things happening on the main channel. Did you want to talk about some of the stuff in general that's happening over at the main channel and what we can expect here on Midnight Edge en Español, coming with videos and so forth?
Yeah, we have some very cool videos, because on the main channel recently we've been talking a little bit about the Disney Black Widow and Bob Chapek situation, which is much more complex than meets the eye. We put up a follow-up video that also deals with Shang-Chi and the star of that speaking out of turn, completely misunderstanding Bob Chapek, referring to Shang-Chi as an experiment. The video for that in Spanish will be up in a few hours after we are done here. Then we're also working on another He-Man video, which we'll also touch a little bit on later today, with how Kevin Smith found a way to mess Masters of the Universe up even more. You would think that wouldn't be possible, given that the first 5 episodes are already out, and he's busy filming Clerks 3. We should be safe now until the next batch of episodes, but no, Kevin Smith found a way. So yeah, we'll get into that both later today, as well as a whole dedicated video later on. Before that, though, we also got a super chat starring us off from the amazing Stephen Otten, a loyal supporter of all our channels, and he says, "Hola, Mike, Diego, Pablo, Andre, Renches, and chat." Yes, indeed. And everyone, if you can do us a favor, smash that like and help share this stream. That would be a huge help, and we would be eternally grateful. But we also have some Disney news before that, before we get to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, because there's more news that has to do with Disney. And this is actually a little bit on the gaming side, and it goes beyond just Disney. Mike, can you bring that story up?
On it, boss. Let's see. Let's start with this one here.
Yep.
Ok,
Yes.
Para comenzar, como dice, gaming companies should avoid predatory designs, lawmakers say. En Estados Unidos, 12 compañías de videojuegos están siendo citadas por el Congreso de Estados Unidos debido a prácticas depredatorias. Como muchos acá que juegan deben saber, en la industria de los videojuegos actualmente existe una práctica un poco, ¿cuál sería? ¿Abusiva, creo que sería la palabra, Pablo?
Correcto.
Totalmente.
Y lo especial de esto es de que entre esas dos empresas hay dos personas mencionadas que son, creo que, familiares para nuestro público. Una de ellas es Ann Sarnoff de Warner y la otra es nada más y nada menos que Robert Chapek, el actual CEO de Disney.
Ay, Boberto, ¿dónde estamos?
Sí. Y antes de eso, sí, Andrés Aguilar pone un comentario que dice, me sorprendió muchísimo no ver a EA en esa lista. A todos nos sorprendió, pero ellos tienen amigos en el Congreso, por eso. Bueno, yendo en detalle con respecto al artículo, ¿ok? Lo importante de esto es de que el hecho de que no solamente son 12 de las empresas de videojuegos más grandes las que están siendo mencionadas, sino que entre ellas Robert Chapek lo hayan nombrado en este caso, ya, citando la famosa ley COPA que hizo el Congreso de Estados Unidos para proteger la información de los niños, ya. Y el timing de esto es lo que más ponen como un poco
Interesante.
Ajá, porque esto justo es una cosa que está pasando ya hace años. En Reino Unido comenzaron las conversaciones y en Europa están comenzando, en Holanda y Bélgica ya prohibieron todas estas mecánicas, pero el hecho es de que justo ahorita donde está pasando que Robert Chapek está tratando de hacer su jugada de poder y tomar las riendas de Disney como el CEO y no ser de nuevo la institución como le dejó Bob Iger, que esta noticia salga justo en pleno proceso de eso, mientras también está con el caso de Scarlett Johansson demandándolo, que esto lo pone en una posición muy interesante porque dependiendo cómo lo maneje, o él podría tomarlo como una ventaja, como también una desventaja, como lo juega. Y un poco de lo que se resalta acá dice, Democrats are calling for some of the largest gaming companies to better protect children by extending the new UK design rules to children in the US. Regulations could ban companies from selling in-game loot boxes to minors, among other restrictions. And in a letter, a dozen gaming companies, including Blizzard, Epic Games, Microsoft, Nintendo, Riot, Senator Ed Markey, Representative, Kathy Castor, and Representative Lori Trahan, press executives to extend new UK design regulations to children in the US. So, un poco para que entiendan, están diciendo de que básicamente están presionándolos a que impongan nuevas regulaciones que ya se tomaron en Inglaterra, pongan ese diseño a lo que está pasando en Estados Unidos, citando Copa, ¿ok? Y esto es una cosa que no es simple, porque es un estigma que la industria ya tiene, y si Bob Chapek le dan ese estigma, lo va a perjudicar a la larga en esta jugada de poder que está haciendo.
Exacto.
Y bueno, a esto hay algo un poco más de fondo, porque realmente, ¿por qué está Disney mencionado en esto cuando Disney se había deshecho, al menos por el lado por el que le agarraron, su división de videojuegos de LucasArts? Cuando adquirió Lucasfilm, se deshizo de LucasArts, integró parte de la tecnología en su desarrollo y el resto lo botó a la basura. Y se unió con EA. Entonces, en esta demanda no están llamando a EA, pero los están llamando por un juego de EA llamado Battlefront 2, que salió en el año 2017. Y los verdaderos responsables de esto son Andrew Wilson y Bob Iger, Porque no sé si es que saben cuáles son los puntales del funcionamiento de Disney. Tienes 5 segmentos principales: cadenas de medios, parques y resorts, entretenimiento visual, quiere decir series, películas, Disney Plus en general, productos para consumidor y productos interactivos. La parte de productos interactivos la delegaron a otras empresas para evitar esta clase de problemas legales. A la empresa a la que delegaron la mayor responsabilidad de todas, la franquicia más conocida de todas las que tenían, que era Star Wars, fue EA. Llegó a las manos de Andrew Wilson, que básicamente convirtió en una máquina de hacer dinero Battlefront 2. Empezaron las regulaciones gracias a Battlefront 2, y esto fue una tormenta que persiguió durante el año 2018 a Disney. Esta es la primera vez después del año 2018 que se los menciona de nuevo en esto, y se menciona directamente al presidente de Disney, que es lo extraño en toda esta situación.
Okay, Pablo, before we go too much more in depth, because that's great, your points are excellent, but I want to rewind the tape a little bit. Diego, could you go into this section here and read this section about the UK rules, and then I want to bring up the letter. I'm going to bring up the actual letter that they sent to Congress, so everybody can take a look.
Yeah, and I can read that letter actually. So yeah.
Okay, Andre, you want to go ahead and read it? Oh,
yeah, sure.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do this part real quickly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The new UK rules, called the Age-Appropriate Design Code, are set to roll out next month, applying to social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, as well as games like Roblox, Minecraft. Specifically, the new rules force companies to design their products in the best interest, quotation marks, of children, offer stricter privacy settings and policies for different age groups, and restrict nudging techniques often used to encourage users to continue using the service. The UK law does not extend to children in the US, but in Tuesday's letters, lawmakers called on the 12 companies to voluntarily apply the same protections to Americans. Notably, the lawmakers argued that the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, ESRB, loot box guidance does not go far enough in protecting children from manipulation, quotation marks, associated with these games, with these in-game purchases, that the companies should create stricter regulations in compliance with the new UK rules in the US.
So yeah, basically, they do not have the legislation in the US, but they are asking the companies to voluntarily submit to them in the US as well. I have to say, I think that's kind of like a little bit stunning that that you have American lawmakers telling American companies, please submit to these British rules and follow them stateside as well. Now, of course, I agree with the subject matter that loot boxes are really horrible and manipulative, and that's not something one should ever like condone or do anything with. It's certainly not for children, but still I find it really interesting and stunning that American lawmakers would actually tell the biggest American corporations, please comply with British regulation even in America. Has that happened before?
No.
No,
As far as I remember,
yes.
no.
This is the thing. This fight actually was being fought on 2019 by the UK, and they made a full-on report saying that video games that contain loot boxes are indeed gambling, and they should be regulated
Right,
as such.
let's take a step back. Hold on. That's the question is when has the U.S. government gone with UK law in order to bring something else here? This to me indicates something much more new world order kind of stuff, Andre.
That to me is the scary part here.
That I worked in politics for a long time. I worked as the assistant to the mayor. I worked at the federal level. I interned. In my younger life, I worked for a congressional office. I worked for a state senator's office. I worked for a state assembly person. I donated a lot of campaigns, and I worked for a mayor's office once. I was very active in congressional politics and stuff like that. This is a younger life before I started my own firm. This is absolutely telling of something much more deeper, which is that for the first time, I'm starting to see you have now government legislators from different countries that are coordinating. This is a coordination thing. And I agree with you. I don't think, as someone who's got a 9-year-old kid, this isn't a bad thing, but what's happening and how it's happening, not necessarily the content, could be a bad thing in general.
Yes, but as I was saying, this will be the second time because after that report, the Congress on the U.S. actually made a statement saying that they will look more into this and they will persecute anything if they found something. And this is the result. This letter is not the first thing that comes from this, is the second thing that comes from this on the Congress on the United States.
¿Y ellos hicieron una investigación antes de todo o qué pasó?
Okay, the problem
¿Qué es la
is...
historia?
No, España,
Yeah,
España.
la historia directamente es por culpa de Battlefront 2. Ok, durante esa época se empezó a hablar mucho en Reino Unido sobre el hecho de que los videojuegos, bueno, esto era una discusión mundial, pero
Todo empezó después de
Battlefront 2. Sí,
Okay,
y es culpa
Battlefront 2.
directamente de Disney.
Okay, go ahead.
Ajá. Entonces, básicamente sacan el juego, la gente se levanta en armas porque las microtransacciones eran ridículas, había sistemas ridículos para forzar a la gente a gastar dinero en el juego. Si es que querías tener todos los personajes, tenías que gastar sobre los $20,000 en un juego que de por sí ya costaba $60. Y si es que querías reunir materiales, básicamente tenías que pasar los siguientes 10 años para sacar todos los personajes. Entonces, era una manera desmedida de forzar al público a gastar dinero. Hubo una intervención de varios gobiernos y EA finalmente cambió el juego, retiró las microtransacciones durante 6 meses y durante estos 6 meses empezó a haber un montón de pláticas porque era la primera vez que pasaba algo así de grande. Después EA lo empeora con FIFA. Sale FIFA, que es exactamente la misma versión del 2019 al 2020, pero con microtransacciones cargadas. Y durante una audiencia en el Senado de los Estados Unidos, sacan una de las frases más importantes que ha dicho ella hasta ahora. No son loot boxes, son mecánica sorpresa.
Y fue en el Reino Unido, solo una corrección.
Fue
ahí.
en el Reino... Ok. ¿Cuál fue entonces? ¿Cuál fue la audiencia en los Estados Unidos? No sé si es que tienes la información a mano.
Espera, justo está la carta. Tú dices el resultado. No, la audiencia en Estados Unidos aún no se ha hecho. Los están citando para eso.
No, a EA, directamente a EA.
Ah, no, eso sí no.
No,
es que
sí,
como
a EA lo llamaron directamente al Senado de los Estados Unidos a declarar después de todo este fiasco.
Pero eso sí no lo recordaba. Pero ya, y avanzando, algo más importante creo que es la carta. Así que ahorita justo lo tenemos en pantalla. Un poco para que lo están viendo. Estas son las cartas, las famosas cartas, porque son públicas, de que el Congreso de Estados Unidos mandó a las empresas. Todas son idénticas, ¿ok? Todos dicen lo mismo, citando especialmente Copa y citando lo del Reino Unido. Lo importante es, como decimos, si podemos... A ver, Mike, could you go down to Robert Chapek? There you go. Lo importante aquí es esto. Robert Chapek fue citado así textualmente por nombre. Andre, if you could give it a little
Absolutely, yes. What this letter said, and I think the wording here is also really interesting. This then is sent directly to Mr. Robert Chapek, CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Dear Mr. Chapek, we are writing to inquire about Disney's intentions to comply with the UK's Age-Appropriate Design Code, AADC, within the United States. 70% of families have at least one child who plays video games. While online gaming can benefit children, risks range from the collection and monetization of children's data, exposure to violent content, online predators, and manipulative design. The prevalence of microtransactions, often encouraged through nudging, have led to high credit card bills for parents. Loot boxes go one step further, encouraging purchase before a child knows what the bundle contains, akin to gambling. Children are uniquely vulnerable to manipulation and peer pressure associated with in-game purchases and loot boxes. Experts suggest that Entertainment Software Rating Board, the ESRB, ratings and parental controls are insufficient. The AADC represents a monumental step toward child-centric design by default. Additionally, the social interactions in online gaming allow cyber criminals to manipulate conversations and garner detailed personal information. In light of these threats, children and teens deserve strong online privacy safeguards. Currently, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA, covers children aged 12 and under and prohibits the collection, use, or disclosure of children's personal information without notice to parents and parental consent. However, young internet users deserve a new set of requirements and prohibitions that builds on COPPA. Signers of this letter have proposed legislation to extend privacy protection to teens, amend COPPA to cover websites that should reasonably know that kids are on their platforms, and create new minimization standards to stop websites from amassing troves of information about kids and teens. Mm-hmm. The AADC, created under Section 23 or 123 of the UK Data Protection Act 2018, required the UK Information Commissioner's Office to draft and implement the Children's Code. The standards will apply to information society services, which are likely to be accessed by children under 18 in the UK, regardless of where the company is headquartered. The code seeks to empower children and, given that a child could be 7 or 17, the protections vary by age range. The code includes 15 flexible standards that provide protections for children to learn and grow online. Standards range from privacy by default and data minimization to limits on nudge techniques and transparency standards. Organizations that operate in the UK are expected to comply with the age-appropriate design code beginning September 2nd, 2021, and companies have already begun to announce privacy policy changes that appear to be driven by efforts to comply with AADC. It is imperative that Congress acts with urgency to enact a strong privacy law for children and teens in the 21st century. As we work towards that goal, we urge you to extend to American children and teens any privacy enhancements that you implement to comply with the AADC. We also request responses to the following by August 26th of 2021. And here's the questions then. 1. Do you intend to make changes to your product or services design or data collection and use to comply with the UK age-appropriate design code? And 2, will you implement these changes for users in the United States? If not, why not? If yes, will these changes be reflected on a public-facing website or in your terms of service? Thank you for your attention in these matters, and then signed by members of Congress and a US Senator. And that's then the extent of the letter.
Wow, Andre, what is your reaction and what say you as our editor-in-chief?
I think it's tremendously manipulative. That's like my first reaction, because they were like saying that loot boxes and all of that jazz is manipulative and can give peer pressure and all of those things. And this is all true. And that's exactly what this letter here is. I mean, this is kind of like a threat. They're saying that we are working on implementing some horrid regulation here, and we want you to abide by another country's regulation because we are kind of telling you to. There's no legal requirement for you to do this in the US. I mean, there should be, because because again, that's the manipulative part here, but they are telling Disney and other corporations to abide by British law in the US. That to me is stunning. And then, of course, you can argue about the merits of putting limits on loot boxes and all that kind of, like, no one is going to have any issues with that. But just the principle of the matter that American senators will send a letter like this with a very implied order that you are to do this, you are to abide by the British law, pending the American that will come. I mean, these things, do they have any idea how expensive this is going to be to implement for all of these companies? And not only that, they can implement it, but then say that the American law does come and it's different. They have to go and make changes again. Maybe it would be better to actually make an American law so that they know exactly what the requirements are, and then have them adapt to that. Surely that must be better. That must be better than
New World Order kind of stuff. La reacción de Diego. Diego, ¿qué es su reacción?
Puedo decirlo, simple es, no me sorprende, ¿ok? Debería haber pasado hace tiempo. Lo que más me sorprende, porque esto es una cosa que vaya, que son 10, 15 años de loot boxes y esas cosas, ¿no, Pablo?
Sí, más o menos, desde la época del Xbox 360 con, si no estoy mal, con Oblivion empezó el DLC originalmente, pero realmente el spike gigantesco que hubo fue gracias a Counter-Strike Go y gracias a... se me fue el nombre del juego, Overwatch. Overwatch.
Y por eso digo, no me sorprende más es cuánto tiempo demoró en que pase, ¿ok? Lo que más sorprende es lo que dijo, también lo que mencionó Andre, es el hecho de que esto es bipartidario. Viene de los dos lados, en la parte de los republicanos y demócratas, los dos están juntos en esto. Si fueran demócratas, yo diría, ok, están dentro de su forma de ser, de hacer ese control, o si fueran republicanos es por más una cosa de valores. Pero me sorprende que los dos hayan estado de acuerdo. No, tenemos que hacerlo. Y ahí es donde como dicen, ahí es donde viene la preocupación, porque si viene de los dos lados y ponen, puede ser que comience un sistema como el que pasa en China, donde tienes reconocimiento facial, tienes horas determinadas para los niños así por ley, donde no pueden jugar a ciertas horas, a pesar de que si los padres digan, sí, tú puedes jugar, no, el sistema está programado de tal forma, si reconoce al niño, dice, tiene 12 años, no puede jugar después de las 11, automáticamente.
Okay.
Eso es lo que preocupa.
Ay, esto es una
Pablo,
colada.
¿reacción?
Esto es mucho más grande de lo que parece. Primero, están mencionando...
Yo estoy completamente de acuerdo contigo. Es New World Order, bro. Definitivamente, es claro. Porque ¿cómo pueden saber, cómo pueden creer que podemos usar las leyes de United Kingdom aquí en los Estados Unidos? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, and they are talking about the AADC. That's a law that came to be on 2020 on the UK because of a lot of shit was going on microtransactions on games. But they also are talking about COPA, and COPA, the law has been standing since 2004, if I remember correctly, but was not enforced until 2009 and was not upgraded to digital media until 2016, if I recall correctly, when thanks to YouTube, and this is thanks to YouTube that they were doing stupid shit on YouTube Kids, and some help with Disney that they were paying to boost some characters like Elsa and Spider-Man and everything. They created Elsa Gate, a huge controversy that almost took the monetization from a lot of channels because of stupid things. And now they are talking about implementing parts of the AADC on COPA. That will be really dangerous because COPA only handles about the information that you can extract and not about exactly the content that you can show. That is a tricky part that is in another law, right? If they implement this in COPA, COPPA will have stupid amounts of capabilities to censor anything. And I mean anything. Anything that anyone in the politics of the country decide that is against the security of children can be completely removed from shelves, can be completely annihilated in a split second.
Excelente, Pablo. En español, por favor, porque su análisis es increíble.
Ok, esta es la situación. Tenemos el AADC, que es una ley que salió en el 2020 dentro de Reino Unido por todo lo que estaba pasando con microtransacciones, el abuso que estaba habiendo en microtransacciones. Además de eso, están hablando de integrar esto en COPPA. Ahora, COPPA es una ley vieja, es una ley que ya estaba en reglamento hasta el 2009, cuando hicieron algunos ajustes a existencia de datos digitales. Es para proteger qué datos puedes obtener de los niños y que hasta cierto punto qué cosas puedes mostrar a los niños, pero con ciertos pequeños detalles que están en otra ley. En el año 2016 hay cambios fuertes por todo lo que pasó con ElsaGate en YouTube y el hecho de que YouTube estaba recogiendo información de niños menores a 13 años y vendiéndoles ads y contenido sexualizado. Y eso fue un error tanto de Disney como de YouTube por los negocios que estaban haciendo en ese momento por el boost de ciertos keywords en YouTube Kids. Y todo esto, ¿a qué va? COPPA es una ley que ya tiene demasiados tentáculos y es demasiado complicada de manejar. Si es que le dan estas capacidades, pueden censurar lo que les dé la gana de contenido para adultos diciendo que está orientado para niños. Por ejemplo, Los Simpsons. Los Simpsons es una caricatura y por lo tanto algunos pueden tener el argumento de que es dedicado hacia niños, pero el contenido es hacia adultos. Como COPPA funciona, si es que hacen un solo arreglo, pueden destruir Los Simpsons en un segundo, porque Los Simpsons tiene contenido orientado a niños, ya no puede ser para adultos, muere.
Elijah Snow makes a comment that Mexican Iron Man, they're really trying to abdicate their job. I mean, the U.S. politicians are, I mean, if you think, that's an excellent commentary, because if you think about it, Andre, right, they're not even doing their own, see, if this was a hot issue, normally, like, they have their own staff research it, they come up with
so.
Let's go ahead, Andre, go ahead, you were going to say?
Yeah, no, I was about to say, yeah, you'd think so, but again, these are people that think Michael Linton is still in charge of Sony, because to me that's also something else fun here.
Yeah.
Because here we have a copy of all the letters.
Wait, what? Hold on, what happened? Which letter was that?
Oh, it's in the same package of letters, because if you go further down to the very last letter that they have sent to Sony,
hold on,
since
hold on.
and these are to everyone wondering, we're scrolling through the letters here.
We're about to see how effective your government is at being efficient here. Let's see.
Yeah, and up to date.
Mr.
Okay.
Sarnoff, this one?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
further down. She is the CEO of Warner, so that is correct.
Okay, hold on, I gotta go.
Yeah, so a little bit now. We want to
Selnick?
get not Selnick either. It's the very last one, very last letter, and all these letters are identical. They're just there. You have it.
You passed it.
There you have it.
All right, go ahead.
This letter is then addressed the August 10th of 2021. That's when all of these are sent, and this is then the exact same letter that was sent to Bob Chapek. This is the one that's sent to the Sony Corporation of America. Now, the interesting thing, of course, Sony, they own PlayStation, so it's very natural that they would be getting a letter like this. What is not natural is that it would be addressed to Mr. Michael Linton, Chief Executive Officer, because Michael Linton, he left that title in 2018. I mean, he's not been in that position for 3 years. This is the American government hard at work here. Being up to date.
I found a way to explain to you how this is going into something really conspiratorial without going to the conspiratorial side. And it's this, okay? You can search for a video of someone that is actually currently working for EA that is called Terulf Genstrom. The guy has a full-on video called Let's Go Whaling. Is a conference that he gave about how can you abuse psychology to force people into complying on giving you money on digital interactions. So it's basically how can you make someone give you their money without thinking on video games. And this guy, from the beginning, he says, this is completely unethical, but we are not about ethics, we are about making money. And this comes from a different segment that has been studied to the bottom on EA. Is a model of economy called circular economy, right? Where you don't own the product, you own the access to the product, and when you stop paying, you lose it. Like the best example that I can give you is the cable companies, right? You get the equipment to watch cable on your TV, but it is not yours. If it fails, the cable company will come, replace it, fix it, and when you leave the company, you have to return the equipment, right? So you are not paying for the equipment, you are paying for the access to cable. That is the model that they want to implement on video games, and it's called circular economy. It's something that actually made the Xbox One have a huge step back on the launch. And it's something that goes way beyond to what Apple is doing, to what Disney is doing. The lifestyle brand that they wanted to make with Star Wars is part of that same model of economy. They have the reasons. I'm not here to talk about the nitty-gritty about that, because that will be something really dense that we will need to unpack for hours. But that's the key of that. Circular economy is what they are trying to implement here, and loot boxes is a good way to maintain a circular economy because it's a constant stream of money to you.
Yeah.
Diego, ¿qué opinas?
Además de lo que dijo André del hecho de la ineficiencia del gobierno, es lo que ya dijo Pablo. O sea, el tema con todo esto es varios aspectos, porque uno, están tratando de obligar un modelo que va a funcionar en un país que tiene diferentes tipos de controles, porque el Reino Unido no es un sistema federal, no es como cada estado es autónomo. Todos funcionan bajo un solo parlamento que rige las leyes y aplica a todos. ¿Ok? Entonces es más fácil aplicarlo ahí. En Estados Unidos va a ser un tema 1000 veces más difícil, porque también tienes la independencia de básicamente cada estado de cómo aplicarlo. Y va a ser una pelea constante donde dices los derechos de los niños y los adultos contra los derechos como del Estado de proteger a los mismos niños, y al mismo tiempo el hecho de que las empresas van a decir, pero esto va a infringir nuestra capacidad de generar ingresos, especialmente si les damos juegos gratis. Y va a ser toda una pelea que va a durar mínimo que 20 años hasta que finalmente se solucione completamente y satisfactoriamente. Y lo más probable es que todo el mundo va a estar completamente disatisfecho y vamos a tener un montón de juegos que van a ser 1000 veces inferiores por tener que cumplir esos requerimientos para nivel mundial. Así
Extraño
es.
el Dreamcast. Extraño el Dreamcast.
Todos extrañamos. Pero es la verdad.
Go ahead, Andre.
Before we move on here, Mike, I want to have your opinion as well.
Well, I think I've already said it, which is that to me, I how do I say this? I agree with Elijah Snow that these guys aren't doing their jobs. Obviously, by the fact that like no one on their staff could go online at Yahoo Finance and find out who the current CEO is. I mean, golly,
or Wikipedia, even whatever, like anything.
Wikipedia. I mean, we have morons in the Congress. If we didn't know this already, especially on one side of them. I mean, that's just lazy. I'm so tired of people being. God, you know what? This is going to be another. That's a Mexican Iron Man rant warning, Andre.
Yeah.
So,
on that note, actually, Stephanie Janisch, ex Smugglers Cantina, she sent a $4.99 super chat. Muchas gracias. And she about that, they thought it was Linton. She says, "I can't stop laughing. I'd have gotten fired for doing that," which of course is entirely accurate. I mean, that's an unforgivable mistake. Like if you are in government and you're going to make a mistake like that.
And here's the other thing. It's got 3 different Congress people's names on it. So you're not only made a mistake for your office that drafted this, but you just made 3 offices look like morons.
Yeah, you made the entire Congress and the senator look like an idiot.
And you definitely make the Democrats look like a moron because they're the ones pushing it. I mean, it's just really dumb. And then on top of that, what again, my first trigger is my last trigger, and I'm not going to rant in English or Spanish here. We'll save that for another day, maybe Thursday.
We still have the He-Man segment coming, so yeah, we'll see.
No.
Diego, el sangre, Diego, el sangre de Mexican Iron Man.
Yo sé.
Oh, está empezando el fuego. En el espíritu y el corazón está empezando el fuego. ¿Qué vamos a hacer, Diego? Pablo, ayúdame.
El corazón de hierro está que arde.
Yo solo diré.
I was telling the boys that my blood, how do I say it? My blood's overheating and my soul is getting hot. But we'll save that for a minute. My last comment on this is that the New World Order stuff, it bothers me that a U.S. congressperson is copying. I mean, the way things used to work in the old days. Stephanie, please chime in on the chat stream and tell me what you think of what I'm about to say, because she has much more congressional political experience than I do, though we do have some together. Is that son of a gun? Back in the olden days, we'd say, hey, here's what the UK is doing. Okay, well, what should we do here? You do your original research. You do your you do your own research. You try to figure out what's going on. You maybe your staff puts together a report. You share that report with other congressional offices, and then the three of you decide, okay, let's all do it. And you've got your data, you've got your stuff, you've identified who your target groups. I also think it's funny. There's a lot of other companies they could have sent this to, but didn't. Pablito, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some companies that should have gotten copied on this list, because this is not 100% of the gaming market here, people, by far.
No, this is a very, very select little list right here. It's like 7. Yep. I kind of hope that they send copies to others, because if they only send to these ones, that's incredibly selective.
Right. So Pablito, who's missing on the list?
Okay, in this list, we are missing directly EA. We are missing. We will say that Fox is now owned by
Disney, so that's covered by Chapek.
Warner Brothers.
We have Warner Brothers, so they're there.
Yeah,
and so basically, the only one that I will be missing here is actually EA, because they are talking to Blizzard. They are already going for the big heads, with the exception of the Ubisoft is part of a conglomerate. So if they attack the conglomerate, they attack Ubisoft. If the same that if you want to attack Blizzard, you will attack Activision first, because Blizzard is part of Activision. So you can actually make that. Also, Ubisoft is mainly working on Europe from, if I'm correct, from Paris. Correct me if I'm wrong, Diego, but Ubisoft, the main offices right now are on Paris.
Yes, because they're a French company.
Yeah, so they have a lot of other issues. The European Union has been talking about complete censorship of this kind of material, of this kind of games, starting with FIFA, something that made a lot of Europeans unhappy, because, FIFA goes, their happiness go. But yeah, they have been talking about this for a long time. So even if they are not in this, they are in deep shit on Europe. So the same thing, and that's why they are trying to apply something that comes from the UK. The AADC comes from the UK, but the Netherlands, Finland, those countries already have some caps for microtransactions, and they have already been trying to make legislation to prevent this from happening ever again. So, for that side, they are also on the shit.
Yeah.
All right.
We shall see what happens with it. I think that we have covered this topic fairly well. We have a couple of more super chats and super stickers. Darius Münchhausen sent us a $1.49 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. That 70s rock fan sent us $5 Canadian saying, "Hola compadres, mucho respeto." So
Hola, hermano.
that is cool. And I think that, and we also got a super sticker from our good friend Mexican Idol Man. Oh wait, he's right here.
Well, I'm just so used to throwing super chats and super stickers. I couldn't let another show go by. I was actually trying to test it to see how it would look in the stream. So, all right, who's got the article? Where's that at?
Yes, and then we have the next article here because we promised you some He-Man news, so let us bring up some He-Man. Now it's in the private chat here. Maybe that came the second that you were. So I'm just going to copy it right here. Mike, if you can bring that up.
Okay, it's coming up right now, sir.
By the way, we promised He-Man and we are delivering. Meanwhile, Kevin Smith promised He-Man, and well, that's why we are delivering.
That's a very, very good point.
Oh my God,
right
that's
there.
so good. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to do this one?
Yes, I can go first and take the
All right,
lead
you're up,
in
boss.
the English segment of it. This happens to be reported by CPR, but it's many other places because it's kind of out there. Here it says, Masters of the Universe Revelations Skeletor rewrites his secret origin.
What?
Yes, they changed Skeletor's origin, and this then happens in the prequel comic book miniseries by Dark Horse. Because it's not just that there is the Masters of the Universe Revelation on Netflix, there is a canon Dark Horse miniseries that goes to it that explains the events that happened leading up to that miniseries. And here's the interesting thing.
I haven't read any of that.
Yeah, well, I've read both issues that have been presented so far, and it only goes to show that Kevin Smith wasn't content with changing all the stuff that we saw on screen. No, he had to go and change even more things. He had to subvert and deconstruct Skeletor. So in the second issue.
Audience just booed for Kevin Smith.
Yeah, in the second issue here, we got Skeletor's secret brand new origin story. Now, of course, those that know their He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, they already know Skeletor's origin story. Skeletor is in reality Keldor, the elder brother of King Randor, the firstborn son of King Miro. But he couldn't get the throne because he was a half-breed son of a concubine, a blue-skinned concubine, which is why he is a blue-skinned. And then he got a critical injury to his face, as relayed in the 2000X series. And then Hordak saved his life through his magic. In the process, he became Skeletor. That is his canon origin story. But Kevin Smith wasn't content with this. Kevin Smith gave him a new origin story. And I have, just for a maximum effect here, I have an image prepared of his new origin story.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, here we have Skeletor. He's hanging out with his homeboys in the barrio.
Oh,
they're going out and they're partying. Look, there is a whole planet. The planet is called Apolios. It's a planet of Skeletor people. That's like people with skulls for faces.
Wait.
Look at them, all of them. They're happy, celebrating in the barrio. And look, Skeletor, he has the hot for a Skeletor woman over there. Beautiful, beautiful woman with skull face.
This is so stupid.
No, Andre, no.
No. Why?
Oh, no. But wait, oh God, this is what happens when I don't check out the articles before the show starts.
Me duele la calaca.
What's happening here, Andre? I don't.
No, that's Skeletor back in the barrio. That's him out with his amigos, and they're having a fiesta. And they're checking out the girls.
It's Space Día de los Muertos.
No, it's not. No, es el space Dia de los Muertos del Space. No. What? Why do they have this here like it's my grandmother or my tia abuelita's cookout? Are they having is this a carne asada party? Day of the Dead? Why do they have these spears? Oh God, oh no.
Well, to be fair, they're partying because Skeletor, he is the champion of their people, because they have just vanquished the ram people that were enslaving them. And Skeletor, like, see, they were all slaves. You have like these evil ram people that came from outer space, and they enslaved these peaceful Skeletors that were just partying in the barrio.
Wait, ram people? They are the ones that made the ramstone or something?
Yeah, we don't know that later. But anyway, they certainly enslaved Skeletor's people over in Apoleos. And Skeletor, he's the champion. He strangled one of them. So that's why he's the hero. You see there, they're shouting freedom, our hero, our savior.
It was a new age of liberty, empowerment.
Yeah, of course, empowerment.
And it said, what does Skeletor have to do with anti-slavery stuff? What is this? Diego, Pablito, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Por qué me está tratando como un cerote? ¿Por qué me está que yo soy con mi mierda? ¿Qué es esta basura?
Oh, it gets better. It gets
better.
No! Look, Skeletor. You saw that girl? He got her pregnant. They got married. They go shopping and everything. And look, they got the little Skeletor baby, a skull-faced little baby.
Do we now go to the officer for like Wix or welfare? What happens next? No. Wait.
Well, they're there in the marketplace and everything. So yeah, probably like they're going to live in like a nice socialist place where they get like their welfare checks. I'm sure they're going to get like child welfare. But look in the background, the ram people, they're looking at him. They're unhappy because he killed one of them. So you know what they're going to do when he's going there, really happy with his skull-faced Skeletor woman and his skull-faced Skeletor child. Can you guess what they're going to do?
I don't
they're going to come.
No me digas nada. No, Andre, no. What's this?
I'll get you next time, goat man.
Yeah, well, actually, they got him this time. And look what they did. Have you read you know what happened with the Punisher, right? How the criminals came and they killed his family. You see, Skeletor is trying to protect his little skull-faced wife and skull-faced child. And they're taking them from him. And look, the final thing he sees. They're killing them in front of him.
First of all, the Punisher is not a targeted attack. And this is a targeted attack, so...
Oh, yeah.
Second of all, okay, Skeletor is part demon. That's his backstory. And something smells me to hear about actually...
There's nothing demonic about him here. He's just a regular guy.
Andre, we have some important questions, both in English and in Spanish from the floor.
Yeah, do bring them up because...
From my buddy Miguel, who's one of our great supporters of this channel, Miguel Farah. He got her pregnant with his bone?
Chicks loves boners.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, that's what happens. And then you have like the sad and broken, lonely man Skeletor, and everyone like feels bad for him and looks at him weird among the other Skeletor people. Like he's like sad and lonely. But then one day there comes another alien.
Why doesn't he even look right? Why isn't he drawn right? Who drew this guy?
Well, we can check it afterwards. Look who comes. There's someone that has a deal for him.
Hordak should be on a seal. The reason why Skeletor goes to the whole transformation on his whole arc is because Hordak need him to become a Skeletor to free him from another dimension.
Oh, not here. Here it's Skeletor that, if anything, needs him. He just needs someone to help him take over Skeletor's home planet. And just like Darth Vader, he's like you, or like Anakin Skywalker, like you say, you can give power over life and death. And yeah, now he's interested. So then he pledges his allegiance to Hordak so he can get his wife and child back.
Wait,
Call me daddy. I will call you daddy.
no! Look, Skeletor may lose some battles, but he doesn't kneel down like a wussy. But guys, Skeletor.
Oh yeah, look, he took the knee.
that's a
Skeletor
Skeletor.
took the knee to Hordak.
No, Skeletor, no. ¿Por qué estás haciendo eso, Skeletor? No. No.
But there was one thing that was a little bit badass though, because he kind of like has to prove himself against the Ram people, and this I have to admit that was a little bit badass. So he takes a sword and he goes and he cuts their head off, and Skeletor's Havoc staff. Well, that's how he got it. That's the Ram people.
The Havoc staff is one of the legendary weapons. Is at the same level as the sword, is at the same level as the staff that Evelyn has, is at the same level as anything.
No, it was not anymore. Now it's just a random skull that Hordak infused with magic. So
Hordak's
the
staff,
implication is that all the magic in his staff, Hordak gave it, and then probably Hordak can take it away.
So this is no longer an Eternium-made staff that can actually channel the power of demons and gods at the same time.
No, not unless Hordak wills it so, I guess.
For fuck's sake.
Wait, I don't understand. Who was it, Lindsay or I don't know who was it said this something. Well, Skeletor has got baby daddy drama?
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
and then he's like unhappy because like he serves Skeletor he serves Hordak like a loyal little puppy, and Hordak keeps on delaying getting his family back again. But eventually he relents. Eventually he brings back Skeletor's daughter. So look there's Daddy. There's Hordak's little skeleton daughter back from the dead.
Of
but
course,
Hordak being a bastard. But being the bastard he is, Hordak, he takes her. He takes her to serve with him, to make her like a part of the evil horde, and he just has to like watch her take it.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait, what happens there? Your every action of your. Wait, what?
Hordak took the little boner from Skeletor and left him sad.
Wait, did they just baby Yoda him or something like?
Yeah, Hordak baby Yoda took his daughter away, like brought his daughter back from the dead, but then took her away to train her to be part of the evil.
Well, at least she is not more an skeleton.
No, she's totally a skeleton. You just can't tell.
Yeah, but you cannot be more of an skeleton. You are
this is true. But Skeletor, he still can't get his wife back.
Baby Tor. It's baby Tor in a onesie.
That requires more. So eventually, Skeletor figures out that Hordak either can't or won't bring his wife back. But there is one thing in the universe that can do that, and that is on Eternia, the power of Grayskull. And that is why he wants the power of Grayskull, to bring back his wife.
Ay, por el amor de Grayskull, dame paciencia.
You know how hard it is to get me to be speechless where I can't even rant? El estúpido, Lindsay the cynical geek. Oh my God, who said that? Someone, let me find that comment from somebody that said earlier. They said they straight up stole that scene out of Star Wars.
They stole from the Punisher. They stole from Star Wars. They stole from Anakin Skywalker. They just stole from all over the place. But they stole something from the Joker as well.
Oh,
we're not finished. We're not finished.
What? There's more?
Yeah, there's more. There's more.
Siempre hay más.
Because all of this is a flashback. Like he's talking to Evil Lynn. He's like sharing his life story with Evil Lynn, and she says, "That's quite a story. I don't believe a word of it." And then he says, "I never lied to you. Strange. I think you really believe that." And then, like, why did you tell me?
Wait, go back up. I know what you think. Wait, what you all think that I'm just a mad despot running in circles, chasing meaningless obsessions. You're wrong. I'm like you, Lynn, just trying to find home. What? What?
And look, he's now going to try to pretend to evil Linda. I was just joking; it wasn't real. But look there, he sees the image of his wife. So this is very, very real. He sees her. Her image follows him.
A ver, literalmente él la ve y lo que piensa es en la huesuda.
And then, of course, but then she's like, tell me honestly, was any of it real? And then he's like, oh, what gave me away? Like pretending. I was just joking. This is just bullcrap.
Oh my God, there are two girls talking in the hallway again. Well, I've seen this on Star Trek and everywhere else. What is this conversation? What does this have to do with the universe and the power and magic? And where's the story here?
Oh, the stories in the previous issue. There's like some alien starfish Starro-like thing.
Where are we talking about Fifi's? Oh my God, this is the same type of crowd like the way He-Man started with, like where he didn't tell her and then she walks away and no one gets to mourn for He-Man. And
I have a
go
theory.
ahead, Andre. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. Continue on, good sir.
Yeah. No, I think we've gotten fairly close to it.
I have a theory, and Andre, I need your help in this. Right now, they are trying to avoid some points on the story that actually belongs to the series, doesn't belong to the rights on Mattel's side, right? So this seems to me like they are trying to make the background story, but the original comics and everything about the story of Skeletor belongs to the series, belongs to that part of the rights.
No, actually it doesn't, because Keldor was first introduced in the mini comics, and here's also the thing: they only have to be like 25% distant. They own all of the story points or anything like that, so they don't have to change this for rights reasons. They are fully within their rights to do the Keldor story. They can absolutely do that. That's what makes this worse. This is a creative choice.
Yeah,
I mean, they have to change the Keldor story up a little bit, like they did in the DC comics, but they didn't have to do this. But they chose to do it.
Do they have the orcs shown anywhere on any of these comics? The orcs?
What was that?
Are the orcs shown anywhere?
The orcs? You mean the orcos?
Yeah, the orcos. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't recall, but I don't think it matters that much. I think too much has been made of it, because although Filmation created Orko, they had to sign over the rights to him to Mattel, just like Bad Robot did. No, not Bad Robot, but Robot Chicken and Cartoon Network did with Molar, the attorney and dentist, because they made a sketch for Robot Chicken. And Mattel made a toy out of that sketch. And for that to happen, Robot Chicken had to sign over the rights. I think the same thing happened with Orko. Filmation doesn't have any exclusive Orko rights. They were signed over to Mattel, so they kind of come with the package. So this is not something that they were forced to do for rights issues. This is a purely creative choice that they did.
Then this is even worse than I thought.
That's what I mean. It's even worse.
Yeah,
I'm just focusing on this picture because I think it's like the best one.
Yeah.
Here we have Skeletor in the barrio checking out the local Skeletor ladies.
Pablo, su reacción.
Ok. Primero, la están cagando de todas las maneras posibles. La historia de Skeletor era una excelente historia si es que querían hablar sobre temas SJW sin irse completamente a SJWs. ¿Por qué? Porque Skeletor pertenece a la raza de los Gnar, que es una raza segregada dentro de Eternia. Ellos ni siquiera tienen acceso a la capital de Eternos. Entonces, básicamente, lo que pasa es, el rey tiene un hijo con una concubina y de esta relación sale Keldor. Keldor es el hijo mayor de este rey, así que tiene derecho al trono. Y de hecho, él es criado para ser un rey justo y un rey bueno. El problema es que cuando finalmente hay que decidir el sucesor del rey, le dan al padre de He-Man el trono en vez de dárselo a Keldor. Y por eso es que Keldor empieza a buscar en las artes oscuras una forma de recuperar su reino, porque él quiere ver a su reino prosperar, y dentro de sus ojos no se va a lograr con la actual administración. Esa es la motivación para Skeletor para el primer ataque. Dentro de ese ataque recibe una herida en la cara, va a un templo de Hordak, y Hordak le da los poderes de un demonio y lo vuelve loco, lo trastorna completamente. Por eso es que Skeletor está de esa manera, por eso es que Skeletor tiene todos los tornillos afados, pero es para que al final Skeletor logre revivir a Hordak, porque Hordak fue atrapado en una dimensión por su propia estupidez. Entonces,
Despondos is the name of the
Despondos,
dimension.
exactamente. Entonces, toda esta situación es, ellos tenían a un personaje que, como están tratando de hacer aquí, era originalmente bueno y se convierte en malo, pero él además tenía un background en el que él era el underdog, él era el inferior, él estaba fuera de la sociedad, y es la negación de la sociedad a sus derechos por nacimiento lo que lo lleva a convertirse en un demonio. Todo eso lo puedes explorar de tal manera que muestras, mira, el racismo está mal, y esto está mal, y esto otro está mal. Tenían todas las oportunidades. En vez de eso, ¿qué es lo que hacen? La calaca. Es más, la ciudad de la calaca en el planeta de las calacas, y todo está manejado ¿por quién? Por la cabra. Porque la cabra, de la cabra, la madre la parió.
Diego.
Pablo ya lo dijo, yo solo digo, ¿por qué? Además de que la simbología religiosa que estos hombres toman al de usar la cabra, ¿ya? Y los pobres muertos como el inframundo, ¿ya? Pensando que son inteligentes cuando están siendo un cliché.
Ajá.
Es el hecho de que, como dijo Pablo, cuando Skeletor tenía el origen de ser mitad de Eternian, mitad de otra tribu, y que él consigue volverse Skeletor al liberar un demonio, ¿ok? Lo hace increíble, porque primero trata de tomar su trono, se lo niegan, termina herido, y después ayuda un demonio y lo bendice, entre comillas. No, ahora es básicamente un latino que fue oprimido, se liberaron y luego le hicieron Punisher.
Calaveras y diablitos.
Right. Repeat your comment in English for those, because that was a really good one, if you don't mind.
Okay. I was always saying, like, first there's the whole religious symbology that they try to put because there's a bunch of people with skeleton skull, like heads, you know, oppressed by a goat-headed race. Clearly, they're trying to use religious symbology to try and make themselves appear intellectual, which doesn't work. And also the fact that Kelder was a better character than this, because when he was half Eternian, he had the right to the throne. Was denied. He failed. He went to a demon who blessed him and made him into Skeletor. Now we have basically a Latino, un hermano, a brother, and is in the barrio. He takes down the oppressors, and then they make him the Punisher. The lack of imagination.
Y Miguel Fará, la cabra o el cabro no, el cabrón. Kevin Smith es un cabrón.
Oh, man. If anything, all of this is telling me that someday Midnight's Edge International Global Intergalactic Studios is going to have to be a thing of the future, because we got to create our own stuff. This is just, Andre, I can't. Thank God I'm running the board today, or I would have gone off, but I got my hands full backstage with stuff.
I would just have loved to see your face when you first saw that picture of Skeletor and having a fiesta in El Barrios.
It's like, ay, ¿por qué?
Skeletor Hikes.
Fix that. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna go back here.
Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, and I see many people in the chat are also Yeah, and Straith Gamer, he also has the point here. It's because no one can be purely evil. All villains are just misunderstood.
You know, Maximiliano brings up an interesting point. I think we covered this on another show, but let's just go ahead. And Andre, if you could take this one, even though it's in Spanish, it says, no hay alguien de Mattel trabajando en Revelation. The question is, Maximiliano is asking, isn't there anybody from Mattel working on this Revelation thing, Andre?
Yeah, there are. And here's like the thing. Rob David, he is one of the people who are working on it. And I think that he is a really good guy because he wrote the Eternity War comics. And he's also the one that's writing the other more children-oriented animated series. I think that's going to be pretty okay. But here's the thing. That Mattel, they're just producers. They're not the ones paying the bills. The ones who are paying the bills and who ultimately decide are Netflix. And there is one of the head honchos in Netflix. I forget his name. We have spoken of him in our He-Man videos. Yes, Ted Biaselli. That's the one. Thank you. He is the one that ultimately calls the shots because he is a Netflix representative. So he's the one that represents the people with the bill payers. And unfortunately, I think we can say right now, he is also legitimately a huge He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fan. Unfortunately, he is also a very, very big fan of social justice. And of subverting expectations and all of those, like the jazz that Hollywood is doing right now. He's super into all of that, of like just changing everything that was before and get with like the new program. And when you have someone that is a fan of that, who is also a fan of He-Man, and is the one that ultimately decides what's going to happen on the Netflix series and can overrule Mattel, and knows the lore good enough that he knows exactly enough to subvert it. And this is kind of what we're going to get.
Para responder la pregunta de una manera rápida en español, si hay alguien trabajando de Mattel en Revelations, solamente es malo en su trabajo.
Buen resumen. Es la realidad.
Sorry about that. I got a chihuahua that lost its mind. I don't know if it was my rant that set him off or I don't know what, but
no, I probably saw the picture.
Yeah.
Exacto.
He wants to know why he's not being invited to the carne asada Dia de los Muertos piñata party.
Yeah, like they're having a Dia de los Muertos fiesta. That's really what it looks like.
Piñatas. The reason they have the swords is they got to hit the piñatas, Andre.
Yeah.
With all of that, I think we got a couple of super chats to hit, Andre. If we could do that, and then we're going to wind up the show, I think.
Yeah, because then we also have Durao On, who says, I didn't realize you were monetized. I opened a PayPal account to support you, but it shows my real name, so I couldn't. Congratulations and hail everyone. Oh, thank you. We really, really appreciate that, Durao On. That is much appreciated. And then we also have Elijah Snow, who says for $4.99, the sin isn't wokeness. The sin is laziness. And yeah, someone didn't bother to check out the extensive canon and real story of Skeletor, which is a real shame right here. I'm just going to see if we double check behind here that we didn't miss anything. That 70s rock fan said, Hola, compadres, mucho respeto. I think we got that. And yeah, then we are fully caught up. I do believe. So with that, I would like to say thank you to everyone for joining us today, and also especially thank you to Mike, who helped me co-host today, and also, of course, to Pablo and Diego, the regulars who are always here doing amazing work. When can we see you guys next time? Actually, when can you see all of us next time?
Yeah, we'll be back on Thursday. Diego, Pablo, do you guys have anything you want to plug your channels? I think you both have YouTube channels, right?
Yeah, and they're in the description, but plug them anyway.
Bueno, I don't have a YouTube channel. I have a Twitter. That's
Okay.
because you can find me here in Midnight Zeds as always on Tuesdays and Thursdays to do these beautiful things, or when Paulie has some news like the Isa Gonzalez or Geektripology and his Progressive Park. See you next time.
Y bueno, mi canal es Geektripology. Ahí básicamente hago rants sobre las estupideces que están pasando. Y fuera de eso, aparezco en el canal de Nick Weiser los viernes a la noche para hablar sobre cómics y los domingos en el canal de Jet para hablar sobre cultura popular. Y por aquí estaba T-Shirt at Historian, también suelo aparecer ahí y les recomiendo mucho ese canal.
All right. And we will be back on Thursday, same time. I'll be hosting again with Andre, and also too, I want to make sure people knew this. If you have articles, feel free to send them to us on Twitter. Post them there if you want, or hit the guides up directly. Also too, I want to make a special appeal. Those of you guys who are in Latin America, if there's a periódico, artículo, algo diferente en español, please send it to us, and then we can include that, and we will read it in Spanish and then translate back to English, because I know there's a lot of great coverage happening in Latin America and South America and Central America and overseas in Spanish, in Spain. I said España, and España, and so wherever you find something, bring it in, share it. We'll give you credit. We'll call you, shout you out, and we'd be happy to read it in Spanish and then translate in English for the benefit of everybody. Because what we cover in Midnight's Edge is fandom around the world. We just happen to, want to do it in English and in Spanish. So, muchas gracias por todo. Nos vemos.
And we just
Before we
got, before we go, Jesus Davila, or Davila, I believe it is, says for $10, my first super chat and last minute super chat on this channel. Well, muchas gracias, amigo.
Muchas gracias,
Muchas
Jesús.
gracias.
Gracias, amigo. Gracias, hermano. Muchas gracias. Ok, bueno, nos vemos jueves al mismo tiempo. Hasta luego. Y que todo esté bien. Bye bye.
Peace.